Hello, this is Cluster 5, Ein Tag am Meer, one day at the seaside, Team 7, 16, 18, 32 and 40. We would like to show you our results on that presentation, and at the beginning I will start with a small introduction while I show you some pictures of the individual groups. Later then we hop from group to group and I try to speak a little bit about the workflow, about the inner feelings of the groups while they worked, in a whole new way of thinking, in an architectural way of thinking. While they designed their models and while they worked. And later then, at the end, I will show you the videos of all of our groups. Okay, so let's start. With this presentation, we intend to capture and display the diversity as well as beauty of our planet's environmental architecture all across the world, thus expressing our gratitude and appreciation for nature's beauty. When taking into consideration on the ongoing crisis of climate change, it is important to prioritize the preservation of the Earth's water and lands, something that presented as our driving sources of inspiration. By incorporating a multitude of organic textures, we hope to achieve a raw, authentic feel that highlights and bring to life both the tranquility and the serenity of our atmosphere, encompassing all of our cluster models. The well-being of animals, plants, as well as human life is something all of our team members aspire to work towards. Okay, so let's start with Team 7. Starting the project, it was chosen to combine the bizarre forms of mountains and straight lines that come with architectural photography. The result of this process is the object that also lives from wild and rough parts next to straight lines and structures. An architectural object was created which looks like both rocky and natural, but the metal surface and overall look let it seem to be man-made. The surrounding landscape should trigger the same mood, so a calm water surface was chosen to be used that is similar to the building in texture and color. The mountain topic was picked up in the rocky beach topography, and the object was placed halfway on the rocks and halfway in the water, so to stress the connection of both in the object even more. Okay, that's Team 16, Sunset Break. Seeing this generated object, Team 16 thought that it looked kinda like an island. This resulted in the idea of building a tower that looked like an island from far away. So the concept of this project was to create a controversy between what is seen and what it actually is. So mossy stone texture was laid on the upper part of the object and a brick texture on the lower part, to deepen the contrast between the organic form and the already known texture. Also, some high rocks were built so the object could blend in with the landscape, and the whole scene was set on the sea to give the project the look of an island. A few boats and docks were constructed to give the people in the scene the opportunity to move on the island. Generally speaking, this place wasn't built to be visited by many people at once, but a place where people can go to relax or have a break. That combination with the view from the top of the tower gave this project finally this name, Sunset Break. Team 18, Spiky Beach Cave. It started with black and white pictures of hands. Out of those pictures, images were generated. And these images were pretty diverse, although most of them were very organic. Similar to the generated images, the three-dimensional object also had a very organic look. And more specific, the lower half of the object pretty much looks like a dripstone cave with long spikes coming from the ground. And it looks so similar to stalagmites. The object by itself got flipped to create a dangerous feeling due to the fear of hurting yourself at the spikes. And in addition to that, the flipping allowed to show off the texture of the object a lot better, because now the spikes face towards the camera, which makes it easier to notice each individual spike. The object got multiplied and used as the wall of a cave, and the cave is located at the sea to have a more interesting color palette, because in a regular land-based cave the ground and wall look very similar. In addition to that, the sea and the cave wall created very narrow pathways, which makes the scene feel even more oppressive. The humans add life to this scene and make you wonder if these are regular tourists or stranded humans, which have to deal with their new situation. Okay, Team 32, Nature Returns. Oyster mushrooms were essential for the very base idea of this concept. And they were used to create very interesting column-like objects with unusual looking facades that were further developed in the scene. The objects were once high-rise buildings that were inhabited by people and stood on a solid built-up ground. And after a long time, the construction themselves and the environment have changed. The buildings have been weathered, partially destroyed, and due to flooding, they are now in the middle of the ocean. So plants have gained the upper hand and are growing over the once modern high-rise buildings. These now offers a new peaceful home for animals and other living beings separated from the rest of the world. Yeah, and at last bridges have been added to the buildings to make them more accessible, and they have adapted to their surrounding area in such a way that they show each of the constructions as one whole object. Okay, so Team 40, last but not least, stranded in the desert. In the beginning there was only a big data set of shoes. The three-dimensional object generated out of that had no resemblance to the shoes remaining, but the outline if viewed from above. And instead of this, it reminded strongly of some rock or stone formations. To increase this similarity, it was colored and textured to appear more organic. And furthermore, the hole in it was deformed and evolved into a cave, so big enough to fit in a person, for example. And to enhance the appearance of the designed object, the surrounding landscape with similar features was added and set into the right proportion. So further, a bonfire was placed in front of the cave to light up the object as well as the whole scene, with flickering orange light creating a dim nightly atmosphere. And to complete the scenery of complete abandoned and wilderness, A red car is situated on the left side behind the object, as you can see. Okay, that's our last point, connections and similarities. Just a quick part to sum up. Even though each team had diverse starting points and three-dimensional objects, all of us individually came to similar results, as you can see. And yeah, so these were finally merged into one united animation, which I will show you now. And yeah, have a look. Yes, so I hope I could give you a small impression of our thinking and designing process, and I wish you lots of fun with the other clusters. Thank you for that.